You have entered the Chronic's rabbit hole, and very excited because we have Alana back with us after highly requested from y'all to keep her with us for Rotten Mango episodes. This one, let's hope it's not as difficult as the Halloween Taiwan tragedy one, which was very hard to take for a first go. My apologies, but I didn't know. It was my first time too. So we were going in together. And you guys were highly suggesting us actually to do this one because it's a little different, maybe not as intense because it's a different type of a episode for her because she's actually interviewing someone.
Yes, you mentioned that.
Never seen an interview with her as well in this type of a way. And the person's name that she's interviewing is Clark Fredericks, and I sat down with the killer is what this is called, and that is very intriguing. Good for her to be able to pull this off. She went and saw the P. Diddy trial as well and was like a part of that investigation
very
too.
Cool.
So really cool what Stephanie is doing with this channel.
I'm really excited to get back to see what Stephanie is doing because I absolutely love the way she creates her videos, the way she puts out the information for her content. She's very straightforward, very upfront, but she says it in a soft enough way that is very accessible, that you can really take in everything that she's saying. So very informative individual, and I can't wait to see what this episode, I Sat Down with the Killer, is going to reveal for all of us.
Everyone, we're all bundled up, ready to go. Well, at least Alana is. I'm in
am.
like shorts and no socks, so it's late, whatever. We're having fun. We got our drinks though, and we're ready mentally for this one, I think. But if you guys ever have little troubles going through this, like Stephanie always says, pause, take a little breather, come back, maybe change it up. Who cares? Just make it through, and let's go have a good time together as well and experience this together. Thank you guys for being here with us.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Bada bing, bada boo.
There is a certain process of elimination when you are at the scene of a death. Some cases are obviously going to be trickier than others. Some cases, the whole time, the investigators are debating, first of all, how? Like, how did this even happen? We don't know. And if this is what truly happened, if our theory is correct, are we sure that's what really happened? That's what the investigators are doing. But for Detective Ryan, this case starts off really easy. Dead man in the living room in his own house. He's dead in his living room, in his house, in like a secluded wooded area. He walks in. Was it natural? That's the first question. Well, no, because there's droplets of blood right at the entrance of the house. It doesn't seem like it was natural. Detective Ryan steps into the house a little bit deeper now. Was it a robbery gone wrong? The door shows no signs of forced entry. He steps inside further, and there are just streaks of blood everywhere. One of the other officers walks straight up to him and just says, well, somebody tried to cut this dude's head off. Murder. That's what this is. We got the how. The cause of death is murder with a hunting knife. By the clues left behind in the living room, I mean, nothing of value is taken. All of the blood is concentrated near the couch in this living room area. Whoever did this hunted the dead man. It's like they hunted them and killed him in his own living room. And it wasn't quick either. Like, there are slash wounds all over this man's body. His throat is nearly slit. You can see the bone on both sides. There's blood all over the walls. There's blood soaking into the carpets. This guy was hunted. He was killed rather painfully, rather violently in his own living room. The first interesting detail that sticks out to Officer Ryan is that there's this bloody footprint that just feels so out of place. Obviously, there's gonna be lots of bloody footprints all over this living room, but it's concentrated in this specific living room area, except this one clear bloody footprint right in front of the door to the primary bedroom. It's almost like the killer, whoever this person is, walked over there, put one foot just outside the door, never stepped inside. What are they doing? Detective Ryan steps inside the master bedroom and he starts looking around. And that's when he sees it. He's like, did the killer slit that man's throat, walk over to this bedroom to spit on the bed?
Interesting.
Detective Ryan knows instantly that whoever did this knows the dead man. targeted the dead man, hunted the dead man, and left a giant trail of evidence. It's not long after that that Detective Ryan is gonna find the killer. And he's got a lot of questions to ask this killer. And so do we.
That's so cool. I love it. It's just, wow. Okay, wait 1 second. That is incredible. This episode includes mentions of grooming, animal abuse, and CSA. Please don't hesitate to take a break if needed. And I love how she's just jumping right into this too. And obviously, if you're leaving your spit, this was personal. You don't even care if you're getting caught at that point.
Yeah.
Oh man, what is this?
This was a crime of passion.
This is a passion crime. Got that right.
Yeah.
Can you take us to when we're in the...
Yeah, premeditated, yeah.
Can you take us to when we're in the car after you kill Dennis?
I was bleeding severely. I had a severe wound. Speaking to my buddy in the passenger seat, I was not even thinking about getting away with it. I was thinking about stopping the blood flow.
Did you have a hole in your hand?
I did. I put a knife right through it. Severed the ligaments and tendons.
How long was the knife?
It was a hunting knife, so they're about 6 inches long, 8 inches.
And that was also the murder weapon?
Yes.
Did you take the murder weapon with you or did you leave it?
Took it.
And there was blood everywhere. Was it coming from your hand or was it someone else's blood?
A mixture.
Did you feel the need to get rid of the blood?
I had a glove on, and when I got back to my house, I could wring out the glove. It was just pouring out of me, and it was everywhere in my garage.
Can you walk me through the whole...
Okay, first of all, not the tone I thought this was going to be in.
No.
Man, this is like... It almost feels like a grilling, even though it's not. It's just... Or like an interrogation in a way. But like, just well thought out questions, right to the point. Really investigating and like just being straight up, like you said.
Very straight up, very like to the point. That's just how she is. She doesn't get emotionally invested as much, or tries not to. I love all the annotations she has in that binder, and what the amount of research that she's done. So like, phenomenal research that she's done, and you can tell in every single one of her videos.
Incredible team too, right?
Yeah, how powerful her team is, and like how powerful she is.
She's prepared and ready for this.
Yeah, a perfect journalist.
Yeah, absolutely, right?
In my garage.
Can you...
Back to my house, I could wring out the glove. It was just pouring out of me, and it was everywhere in my garage.
Can you walk me through the hole in your hand?
Oof, yeah.
See, it wasn't straight through the hand. It was down this way and out this way. So it went the whole length.
Oh my God.
And you could see pretty deep into because it was wide open at the time.
And you're just driving with one hand.
I had the glove on at the time, so I couldn't see it until I got back and standing in my garage, pulled the glove off. And then I was like, oh boy, we got a problem.
Did it hurt? The hole in the hand?
Yeah, but I was
Shock. Adrenaline.
I was full of adrenaline and cocaine and alcohol. I wasn't fixated on the pain. No, the pain didn't bother me at the time.
Yeah.
The next morning, police are surrounding your house and you pour a glass of Chardonnay. Yeah?
Wow.
How many police officers are outside trying to arrest you?
12 to 20.
Are you scared?
I'm thinking life is over.
Your attorney describes it as horrific crime scene photos after you left Dennis's house. Have you seen those photos?
I have.
Did you feel anything when you saw it?
Honestly, no.
Dennis's obituary reads, "To those who knew him well, he will be remembered as a great man who always went above and beyond the call of duty, and one whose love and loyalty for his friends was unparalleled." Do you agree with that?
No, I do not agree with that.
You provided to us your records.
This is interesting.
I love the smile on his face. He giggled when he said that. And no, I don't agree with that. Because he's the man who killed him, right? So, like, there's a reason there. There's a reason why.
If he got away with murder, what reason put him in that
right?
place to
and
go
like,
there?
I hate, like, the advisory on here gives a couple spoilers.
Yeah.
Right? So, like...
Yeah, how this couldn't go, because it gives you things that it can work on with your fantasy. But let's see how she's laying this out, and even right before starting this, Alana was like, "Should we like find out what this guy's about?" I was like, "No, like she's gonna do a good job.
Yeah, she's gonna do a good job.
Let's do this.
No need to wiki who he's about or anything like that. Like
he's showing himself who he is too. And
I like this style way more if you don't know him and getting to learn about him and what crime he committed.
Yeah.
Because the question she's asking is, did you feel remorseful? No, I didn't. Why? What happened to your hand? Well, I had to stab a hunting knife through it. Well, why? But
someone was grabbing him and he had to, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I've seen that in the movies too
To
much. You gotta stab yourself to get away.
But to injure yourself, to, like, that's passion.
Yeah.
And cocaine. And alcohol.
Like your psychology records from when you were in jail and then later prison. Psychologist asked you, do you feel relief after the homicide? And you say, I can't say that. Things were out of control. No relief.
Yeah, what happened in that night was horrific. In his house was horrific, and it wasn't anything to sit back and rejoice over. It was a bloody, gory, horrific event.
Do you remember how many times you stabbed him, or do you only know from what's been told?
Only from what I've been told.
Initially, when you were first...
And there's so, like, if I would be asking so many more questions in a way if I had them.
Yeah.
And I also respect the way she's going. I don't know why, and I could be completely wrong. There's little bits of me that's giving me a little eerie feel to him. I mean, like, obviously, like, he's murdered someone too, but like, and I know he's probably went through something too, but it's just, there's something about this whole story that just seems, where's this going?
Do you know what my guess is?
No. I don't want to know the guess.
Okay.
But you let them know, actually, because they'll want to know.
Okay,
Yeah.
So my assumption is that he killed someone who hurt his child.
Oh, okay. I think it's he got something.
Yeah?
I think it happened to him.
Something that happened to him?
The way he's laughing,
Yeah.
it seems this is like psychotic personal. That's why he's saying there's a bloody, I don't even know. This is giving me a interesting...
Either something that happened to him or something that happened to his child, but it has to be that personally connected.
Of course.
Initially, when you were first arrested, I think there was questions of maybe there is an insanity plea. Maybe there are all these other things. And one report reads, the most outstanding clinical feature was the absence of any significant overt psychopathology. So does that mean that some psychiatrists were confused because you didn't strike them as a psychopath or someone that just kills out of nowhere?
Right. They didn't find any, anything psychologically wrong with me to do what I did.
You killed Dennis Pegg.
I did.
You stabbed him.
I did.
Reports say you slit his throat.
Yes.
You spit on his bed.
Yes.
And you drove off with a hole in your hand.
Correct.
Yeah, spitting.
And then you were arrested, and psychiatrists say that they found nothing wrong with you.
Correct.
And so technically you killed someone, and you don't regret it.
No.
And everyone in town, while you're in jail waiting for a trial, a plea deal, waiting for whatever fate has in store, everyone in town has free Clark stickers on their cars. People are writing articles. People are selling bumper stickers that say free Clark.
Wow. Wow.
They were everywhere instantly,
Full
like
support.
in less than a week's time.
Wow.
Why did you kill Dennis Pegg?
Yeah, there's the question.
The short answer is he was a monster.
What's the long answer?
The long answer is he had a 45-year reign of terror in our little town of Stillwater, New Jersey, raping boys.
Whoa.
Were you one of the boys?
I was.
Oh, so it's both of what we thought.
I was reading in your memoir, Scarred. You were born with a hole in your heart.
I was just a defect in my heart. And the doctors monitored me for the first 6 years of my life. And they told my parents we were down to a 6-month.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Awesome.
For the first 6 years in my heart. And the doctors monitored me for the first 6 years of my life. And they told my parents we were down to a 6-month window to operate to repair it.
And so you had the surgery and you have a scar that you call a zipper.
You know, with all the stitching, it looks just like a zipper.
I know in the beginning when you were a kid, you were bothered by the scar. Is that something you're still bothered by?
No, I've come to make peace with my scar.
So, okay, what was your first impression of Dennis? I know in your memoir you talk about how he came over and he offered you $1 to touch your scar. Because it was the thing that your parents were doing to try to get you to be proud of your scar, was to show people for quarters.
Right. You're going back, to 1971 to have open heart surgery as a 6-year-old child. Open heart surgery today is still a risky endeavor. So they were extremely proud of me for surviving this. I was in Mount Sinai Hospital in New York City for a month straight. And they were so proud. They just wanted to show me off to their friends. And they thought a neat way to... when you're a kid, you just want to fit in with all the other kids.
Yeah.
I had something now that made me stick out from everybody. So they just thought it would be a way to get me comfortable with it by showing it to their friends and collecting a quarter.
Dennis Pegg was a family friend.
He was my brother's boy. I had a brother who was 6 years older than me. Jay. And he was my brother's Boy Scout leader. And we had a lot of land where we lived in New Jersey, and he would hunt on our land with my father and brother. I wasn't old enough yet, and my parents owned a restaurant back then, and my father put on big Sunday night meals, and he would come every Sunday and have dinner with us and tell stories about... He worked at the county jail as a sheriff's officer, and he would tell stories about there.
Do you think that he targeted your family to get close to you guys, or do you think he genuinely was just friendly with your parents?
Targeted. Predators have to win over... One, they have to win over their community, so nobody would ever suspect them.
Yeah.
2, they have to win over the family, and then last, they have to win over the victim.
Can you tell me about the moment that he saw your scar?
It was just a couple months after I had the surgery. Everybody in my family was in our backyard, and I came inside to get a drink and watch cartoons for a minute. And Dennis came to the front door, which was right next to our den. And I heard his voice, and I bounded up. I loved Dennis. I just thought he was great. He always had his gun on and a badge. And I let him in, and he asked where everybody was, and I told him everybody was out back. And he said, let's sit in the den for a minute. And then he said, hey, I got a quarter. Can I see your scar? Didn't think anything of it. Lifted my shirt, showed him. And he said, I've never seen a scar so raised up like yours. I have keloid condition, so my scar is pronounced. And he goes, how about I give you $1 if you let me touch it? I couldn't possibly think of, in my little 6-year-old mind, of any ulterior motives he would have. And I said, sure, Den. And he took his big, meaty fingers and he ran them up and down my scar. And then he went below my scar line to like my belt line. And he was just probing and saying, is your stomach sore from the surgery? And I'm like, no, not at all, Den. And he's like, okay. He's like, this has to be our little secret. He goes, if you tell your parents that I gave you $1 for touching your scar, we can't be buddies. I'm like, I can keep a secret.
So when he's like probing and touching, did it just feel like, because you had just gotten out of surgery, did it just feel like another adult that's maybe making sure you're okay?
Oh man, being a parent now, this is really hard to think about when you get the trust in someone who can caretake for you and come into your life like that it's just looking really for one ulterior motive that is just disgusting. It's just like, it makes you never want help sometimes when you hear stories like this too.
No, I actually I don't like babysitters. I've never liked babysitters. We've never really had a babysitter outside of our parents.
Yeah,
Immediate family. So I'm not like a big fan of babysitters, just because of things that have happened in my life, in my family, and different things like that. So it's as a parent, even like, that's the sheriff. That's like,
it's just
that's
disturbing.
The scout.
It's authority.
That's the authority.
That should be
That's
someone you're looking up to.
Oh, that is that's hitting hard. If you see my face, my disgusted face as we're watching this, and I can't hide my facial expressions.
That's why the devil's always in a nice suit.
It's always in a nice suit. He always is someone who you think you can trust, and the monsters are the ones that they're not under your bed. They're the ones that are in plain daylight.
Yep. She's doing a great job on this.
She is.
Also making them feel comfortable and still adding some tone of asking outside of the actual topic to like kind of lighten it up in moments when it gets too intense.
Yeah, she's treating him like he's a person.
He's a human, exactly.
But just gotten out of surgery, did it just feel like another adult that's maybe making sure?
The secret.
So when he's like probing and touching, did it just feel like, because you had just gotten out of surgery, did it just feel like another adult that's maybe making sure you're okay?
Yeah.
Is that the feeling?
Yeah, and I had, like I said, there wasn't one thought in my mind that he could have any other reason to touch other than he cared about me and my well-being.
Throughout the book, you describe him as having meaty fingers.
Just like on an alert here, sometimes ask your kids if someone's ever asked your kid to keep a secret.
Anyone ever ask you to keep a secret that you can't tell me?
Yeah, so you don't have to tell me which one.
That should become a common
phrase to ask.
A common phrase to ask.
Yeah, no kidding.
Don't even have to tell me the secret, but did anyone ask you to tell me a secret?
Yeah, and who?
And who told you to tell you to ask you to keep a secret?
Nice. You don't have to tell me the secret. Yeah, like come on now.
Yeah.
What's so terrifying about this, y'all, and again, sorry for pausing it so much. Like when you watch sitcoms and all this, they play something like this in the scenes, and yet this is so real how they do it. So
real.
It just hits so close to home in a weird way.
It does.
And my well-being.
Throughout the book, you describe him as having meaty fingers. And I know a lot of cases that we cover, a lot of victims remember specific sensations or very specific scents even. Is that something that you like remember distinctly as meaty fingers? Like,
Yeah, he was a big hulking guy, and I was a little tiny kid back then. Right. When I say hulking, he was probably 265 pounds, and just one of those big, beefy guys. Him touching my scar stands out so pronounced in my mind, and the visualization of his big, meaty fingers is like ingrained in my memory. I wish I could scrape it off and remove it, but I can't. It's like ingrained in there.
I'm assuming that's a worse memory than the actual open heart surgery.
Yeah, it's he like ruined my open heart surgery, ruined my scar. I hated my scar because what would happen later on.
Oh no.
And he's the reason for me hating the way I looked.
Did he have any sort of fascination with your scar, or was it truly 100% just an excuse to start grooming you?
Yeah, I don't think he had any things with a predator. They're never the way they seem. A predator is a chess master, always multiple steps ahead of you. So like everything may seem one way, but to them it's complete other way. And I don't think he cared two hoots about my scar. It was just an avenue to get what he ultimately wanted.
You guys would go fishing. There would be a lake. You and a bunch of boys would go fishing. Dennis Pegg would constantly be there. And there was an issue with the sunfish, like these little fish in the lake that don't taste good. They're not edible fish?
Yeah, I mean, they're tiny. So you to fillet a sunfish, you'd have to fillet a lot of them to get any meat off of there.
So it's mainly sunfish.
Right down by the dam, there'd be a lot of sunfish, and they're a really like gullible fish where you don't even need to put a worm on a hook. You could just put your hook in the water, and they see the bright shimmering, and they just latch onto it, and you catch them and you just release them, or so we thought.
He does not catch and release them. What did he do?
No, and again, for me to say he didn't like sunfish is wrong, because he's a chess master. Remember, he's a predator, and he's one step ahead of us, 2 steps, 3 steps ahead of us. He would tell us little boys that sunfish were a worthless fish and that they needed to be killed, and he would catch them and stomp on them with his boot, or he would catch them, throw them in the grass alongside the river, and then pick up a big rock and smash it down on them. And he'd be like, that's what you do to things that are worthless.
So everything's like a means to an end for him. So he just wants to scare everyone?
It's a control thing. It's a domination thing. Yeah. It's also to let you know if he considers you worthless,
it's a threat.
This is what will happen to you. We're down there as a group of young boys, and it's not just me he's targeting. He's targeting all of us and letting us all know how he feels about worthless things.
Right,
this is a little sidetracked, but I was doing research into sunfish because I didn't even know what they looked like. And in a lot of indigenous cultures, they're actually known for protecting the young.
Whoa.
Really?
That's like they're some of the fiercest protectors of their young.
Wow.
Like they will stay by their young for 10 to 14 days and starve themselves just to protect them. And so it seems almost ironic that he specifically did not like sunfish as well.
Wow.
It's
I didn't
very
know that.
interesting.
Never heard that. Yeah. It's amazing.
That's why she
So
brought it
in
up.
one of the court documents, it mentions that he drink a goldfish, or he bit a goldfish in half, spit the halves into his beer. Did he drink the beer with the goldfish?
Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. And he said he used to do that with his army buddies.
And he would just make you guys watch.
Made me watch. This was at his house.
You're saying that he will bite a goldfish in half?
Yeah, he bit a goldfish in half and then swallowed it down with his beer. And you can make up whatever psychological reference you want.
Hell,
again, it's to scare me. It's to show violence to me.
Like his demeanor during all of it is just...
Dennis was a light switch. He could be one way, outgoing, friendly, gregarious, fun-loving. Instantly, eyes dilate, turn black, and he becomes a completely different person.
Jeez.
What happens with the Polaroids?
Yeah. Down at the lake again. I lived at a lake community, and there was a dam area. And the dam would separate the lake and then into the river. Mm-hmm. And that's where all us kids would hang out and play. He did everything out of the watchful eye of my parents. When everything happened, my mother said, I never even saw him with you. And I'm like, everything happened down at the lake. And he was giving beer to us young boys, not just me, down there. So I'm like 9 years old. Get a picture of a little 9-year-old. He invites me into his pickup truck down at the lake, and let's have a beer. So he gives me a beer. And I thought it was great. Here's a lieutenant. He's a lieutenant in the sheriff's department.
That's true.
And
That's what you're
I'm
taking.
getting to have a beer with him. I'm thinking, this is fantastic.
1 second, no, cat just wants out, and I don't want to just have that in the back of my mind because this is too invigorating. Oh, cat is scared because this is invigorating.
You scared the cat. The cat's not going out now. Oh, no,
Where's
she's
that?
gone.
And I needed a breather. Yeah, this one's icky.
So this one is, I'm just gonna say it because like this one's really hitting close to home for me because my uncle is on a list. He's convicted. He spent time in jail.
Yeah.
He had to be in solitary confinement because if the inmates find out that you
Have done that. You're
have done
target
that
number
to
one.
children, you're target number one. So he had to go into solitary.
Wow.
So like,
Yeah, I'm surprised you shared that, and also thanks for being vulnerable.
yeah. So it's and what's crazy is he looks exactly like the guy in the picture because they all look the same.
Really?
They
Like,
all have that mustache. They all have that weird haircut. They all have that look in their eye, that face. Like all of them, that like all these predators, they all have that same look. And it's so like,
and I feel like the
it's
BTK killer was Dennis Rader, if I'm not mistaken, as well, and he had the same look.
The same look.
And he was like one of the most creepiest ones as well. And
ugh.
yeah, so this is very it feels so like you want to know more about this story with what really happened here, though.
I hate to say it, but this is like one of those random times when you side with the killer.
Of course, that's what it looks like.
Right?
Justice did too, though.
It looks like Justice did too.
So let's see.
So did the whole community.
Yeah.
And he says, one of my friends just bought a old farmhouse and there was a old desk left behind. So I started going through the drawers and it was filled with porno pictures. You want to see some? And you know, I'm like thinking like Playboy magazine type stuff.
Oh no.
He, he had cargo shorts. Cargo shorts had the big pockets on them. So he opens up his cargo shorts pockets and takes out a handful of Polaroid pictures. And he's looking at them and he just starts giggling like a little schoolboy would giggle. And he's like, oh, these are a riot. He's like, here. And it was a close-up of a young penis. And he's like, here's another one. And here's another one. And it was just penis after penis. And he's slapping my knee in his truck, laughing. Aren't these so funny? Aren't these a riot? And I'm like, where's all the women, Den? And he's like, oh, those must have been in the other drawer. Next time I go over to that house, I'll open up the other drawer for you. But look at these. Aren't these a riot? Aren't these so funny? And and I'm just like,
So you think he took these Polaroids? I mean, there was no friend. There was no farmhouse.
No.
He took these.
Yes. Yeah. He always had large stories. And looking back now, I don't know if one of them was true. I have no idea.
He would invite you to his house and then he would try to feed you beers and...
What would happen a lot is the dam area where I lived, the river went right through Stillwater to a bridge area, the Gristmill Bridge. There was an old gristmill right at the bridge. And he would say down at the dam area, the fish aren't biting that good. Let's go over, towards the gristmill. Or there's twin bridges in another section of the river. Or he'd say, let's go to the twin bridges. And he would always mysteriously slip in the mud. His foot would go into the mud. Or he'd slip and go into the river and get his boot wet. What? And we'd have to go to his house so he could change his sneaker or change his boots. And that's how he would get me over there. And then while we were there, well, let's have a beer while we're here. Oh. So it would be just to get me comfortable going to his house and having a beer at his house.
Were the houses like far apart or did people see that there's constantly boys going in and out of his house?
No, he lived up a long driveway and the house sat alone up there.
So you can't see anything. Like if you were to scream, people can't hear. It's pretty.
There was houses down below, but his was a driveway that went up, did a 90-degree turn to the house, and it was the only house up there.
We're in a very tall driveway too, so if we had someone in our car driving up, not many people are going to see.
No one would ever notice.
And if we get in our door, then that's simple. It's easy to bring people in. That's so terrifying. 45 years, this guy was saying.
45 years of... wow.
I don't even want to know. That's just... oh, man. That really pisses me off.
Yeah.
God.
Return to the house, and it was the only house up there. His house, I don't want to call it a cabin. It was a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house. And it sat up on a hill that overlooked the elementary school playground.
Was he like looking there all the time? Was he outside?
I went to that elementary school, Stillwater Elementary School. I was in Little League baseball, and he was at every game that I can recall. Down on the fence, there was a fence that would go around the ball field. He would be down there. He would come around the fence to the bench where we'd sit at and grab your shoulders. Oh, great job out there. Great job. Just always down at the playground with the young kids.
No one thought it was weird? Because he doesn't have kids of his own, right?
Not married, no kids. But he's the lieutenant in the sheriff's department. He's the Boy Scout leader. The Boy Scouts did their meetings in the gym of the elementary school. So he's wrapped around everything in the town. He's on the Stillwater Historical Society board.
Oh, wow.
The little old ladies loved him. Exactly. I mean, this goes on for years now. You know, the touching of the scar happened when I was 6 years old. Yeah. It goes on to, like I said, inviting me into his truck down at the dam to have a beer with him. And this has to be our secret. And in my mind, I'm like, I don't want to ruin this, so I'm not going to tell my parents I had a beer with the lieutenant from the sheriff's department. This is fantastic. You know, and he made you like his equal. You know, he put you on equal. He made you like feel special, and it's us against the world. Everything he told me, I mean, one of the stories I recite is he was always taking trips out west. And on one of his trips, he said he met the Marlboro Man. Now, if you grew up in the 70s, 80s, the Marlboro Man was a fictional character, but on the back of every magazine with a Marlboro cigarette dangling in his mouth. And he was the coolest dude imaginable. Dennis took the cool...
Reminds me of the Old Spice Man.
Okay.
Because, you know, today, because the Marlboro Man was the coolest guy, then in our generation it would have been the Old Spice Man.
Definitely.
And he was the coolest dude imaginable. Dennis took the coolest, machoest guy in America and told me he met him on a trip and he was gay. He said, it didn't bother me in the least. He was such a great guy. We hung out for 3 days and had dinners and just, you know, just spent a lot of time together. So... And again, he would say, this has to be our secret. Don't tell anybody the Marlboro Man's gay. He confided that in me, you know. I don't want his secret getting out. Did he ever meet the Marlboro Man?
Probably not.
Who played the Marlboro Man?
Yeah.
I have no idea. Probably not. Was the Marlboro Man gay? Who knows?
Yeah.
It's just, like I said, nothing is ever as it seems with a predator. And so what's he doing? He's taking the machoist guy in America, fictional character, but machoist, and making him gay and trying to gauge my response.
Exactly.
And trying to normalize it. Like, hey, the machoist guy in the world is gay.
Anyone
and that's,
can do it. I get what you're saying, man.
Again, I that's what I would surmise he was doing. You know, I can't get into his mind.
He
Exactly.
tries to start wrestling with you. That was kind of like the gateway into...
Yeah, you know, so he's taken years now, you know, of porn pictures, Marlboro Man, beers, slipping into the river, go to the house, beers, so he's invested years of grooming. And at some point you have to initiate more touch.
Yeah. Well,
that's why
it's so brutal because, like, for me as a young boy, I'm a pretty cute boy. There was one time where there was a babysitter that always babysat me that we then started wrestling a lot, and then I would get him in head scissor locks. But then he would just like, no, keep applying it. I'm not tapping out. And then that same guy actually got accused of doing something to his sons as well. So like, who know? And I think he actually got away. Not got away, but wasn't like didn't
He was
get tried for
acquitted?
it. Got acquitted, I guess. And like, so whatever. And not like you guys know him anyways. But all I'm saying is, I remembered that feeling of like something was wrong
This
about what
isn't
just
quite
happened.
right.
Yeah.
Something's a little fishy.
Like, look how much he's like allowing this, and I just remember that. So just like,
Yeah.
hearing like how they have to initiate the touch and all that too. It's just really eerie because the biggest predator in humans' history would be ourselves, would be other humans, and look what they do to each other. Like it's.
That's why when that meme was going around, would you rather meet a bear or a man in the woods? That's why so many people were choosing the bear, because they're like, at least I know the bear's gonna eat me.
That's true. Something's worse than death.
And at some point you have to initiate more touch. That's why I see people tussle a young boy's hair, and it just sends a chill down my spine. Because to the normal person, it's like, oh, cute little Billy, But to a predator, they need to initiate touch. And that little tussle of the hair is going to go to a pat on the knee, is going to go to a pat on the thigh, is then going to go to a wrestling match. So he told me that he wrestled my older brother, Jay. And he wrestled my next door neighbor, Jeff. Jeff and Jay were inseparable. They were same age, same grade, in the Scouts together.
Oh yeah, Scouts
And he says to me, I wrestled Jeff and Jay. Let's see how tough you are. And I'm like, okay. And at first he would let me dominate, let's say, get the upper hand on him. Yep. And then, like I said, that light switch would go off and his eyes would turn dark and black. And he would pin me to the ground. And he would get his hulking 265-pound body on top of me and start gyrating and moving and grooving. And looking back on it at the time, not really realizing what he was doing, but he was erect. And this was getting him off.
And you're 11, so you're tiny.
I was 10 when that started happening, when the wrestling started.
I mean, he's like 3, 4, 5 times your size.
Yeah, I mean, and because of I was a sick little kid when I was young. Like, I was in the hospital constantly with the flu and bronchitis and anything because of the hole in my heart. They would put me into the hospital immediately. I'd be in an oxygen tent, and so I was constantly in the hospital, and I had to be careful for a long while after surgery with playing. There was some limitations put on me by the doctors, so I was just a small little kid back then, sick kid. And this guy just took advantage of that. And he could tell like I was insecure, because my scar made me stand out. And they look for something like to separate the weak from the pack, like any predator does. And my scar was, and my insecurities about it is how he separated me from the pack. And wrestling was the next avenue of physical touch. He's devoted 4 years now of stories and secrets, alcohol, pornography, and now it's time to get back to touch.
There's a part where in your book, your memoir, you talk about how he pinned you down, and he says something along the lines of like, come on, you can get out, come on, squirm. Do you feel like he is getting off on you struggling, or?
Yeah, it's exactly what he was doing.
The dominance.
You know, he would get me down, you know, like I would be in the dominating position on top of him, and then all of a sudden the light switch goes and he would get rough with me and like sort of throw me down, my 10-year-old body, throw me down and get on top and be commanding me to try harder to get out, squirm more, move more, you know, because he's wanting me to move against him and what he has going on.
He comes over for Christmas. What does he get you as a Christmas present?
I had a Boy Scout hunting knife, is what they were called. Oh. And he brought me a whetstone sharpening kit to sharpen the hunting knife. And over him drinking, you know, a glass or two of eggnog at our house, he taught me over the next hour, you know, keep the blade at, you know, an 18-degree angle, how to drive it, you know, across the stone, you know, the oil you got to use, and then he would have me do it, and taught me how to get a perfect blade on my hunting knife. And that was something I kept perfectly sharp my whole life.
The hunting knife?
Yeah.
What happens when you're 12, and what happens to Dennis's dog as well? I know that there was like a hunting ploy excuse of like, you're gonna pretend to be shot in the woods because my buddy shoots everyone without thinking.
So at 12, he concocted this whole big hunting ruse of having a friend who just shot and aimed and shot without knowing if it was safe to shoot. Mm-hmm. And he said, we've got to correct my friend from this bad habit, and I'm gonna use you as a decoy out in the woods. You're gonna be laying there with fake blood on you, and I'm gonna take him out hunting, and he's gonna do his typical shoot, and then we're gonna come upon you lying there with fake blood, and you need to practice gurgling sounds. Like you're gurgling blood, your death rattle, he called it. You have to practice your death rattle. So he got me down at the lake one day, got me back to his house. We're going to practice your death rattle at the house. What the hell? And instead of offering me beer, he offered me blackberry brandy, a glass of blackberry brandy with a beer. Wow. And he told me to chug it. Oh. And then he gave me another thing of brandy.
Oh, jeez, man.
And his house was...
Poor guy.
It was a summer day, but his house was like way hotter inside than outside. And in my adult mind now, looking back, I'm like, did he have his heat on? Did he like purposely turn his heat on in his house to make it sweltering?
Yep.
Yes,
knowing what he had concocted? Like I say, with a predator, you never know what they're thinking. So his house is boiling. We're sweating. He wants me to lay down on his bed to practice my breathing. And it goes to, it's so hot in here, let's just take our shirt and pants off, our shorts off. And then it goes to, he's behind me, has me in a bear hug. Oh, no. And me. And I'm screaming, I'm crying. No. And he had a dog, which is called a coonhound. And coonhounds have this long, drawn-out howl they do. And as I'm being raped, I hear his dog howling away because of my cries and screams. No kidding. And it didn't stop this guy until he was done doing what he wanted to do with me. And afterwards, he sat me down at his kitchen table and got another beer, like almost like we were two lovers who just had a romantic tryst together. Oh. And he brought his dog over to me, and said, I want to show you what will happen to you if you ever open your mouth about what just occurred.
Oh no.
And he started to beat his dog, and I'm crying and screaming and begging him to please stop. And he wouldn't until the dog lay in a heap at my feet. Now, I was just contacted just 2 days before this interview by a gentleman who, when he was 17 years old, needed a place to stay, and he stayed at Dennis Pegg's house for 6 months. And he said it was the most bizarre 6 months of his life. He said the guy was a complete freak. He said one thing that happened, though, is now, when he was 17, he's 10 years older than me. I would have been 7 back then. When he me would be 5 years later. So this dog would be 5 years old. And this guy said Dennis got this coonhound puppy when I lived with him, and it peed on the rug, and he beat the puppy so bad we had to take it to the vet to save its life.
No.
So even as a puppy, he beat it for simply doing what puppies do and peed on a rug. And then this is the same dog 5 years later that he beat and probably killed in front of me.
You never saw the dog again?
No.
No.
And a lady, a female guard who worked with him at the jail, told me how Dennis came in one day, all distraught, that his beloved coonhound dog Duke died. And we all gave him hugs and tears, and we all loved dogs. We were all dog people. And she goes, I am horrified to think that's because of what he did in front of you, that he killed Duke.
It says in your book that you felt guilty over...
God damn, man. This guy is on a whole different level of demonic type of energy of just like thinking of ways to be creative in your like, it's a drama for them, just boredom. It's just bored. So just bored. Let's do some things just to be cool and dominant because I'm like so upset with my life and I'm ugly or whatever you feel.
Thinks he's above the law.
Yeah, and on
Thinks
top of that,
he is the law.
The lieutenant can get away with it. He is getting away with it forever. And it's just terrifying to think how many individuals and what web of destruction this guy has brought. And we're like not even halfway, almost halfway. And it's just so riveting. And we also want to inflect, but like we could pause every time there's a moment that has happened because everything's so shocking on this one, right?
So shocking. It's like, it's devastating. It's shocking. But at the same time, it's like, the way he's telling the stories, he's telling it correct steps of exactly how the predator takes control.
How it happens.
How it happens.
How it could happen to anyone. It's not just because you're weak or anything, but he did happen to have a way that he stood out. So that's also what he's trying to say. And that's why
there was something about him that made him a target.
Yeah, that's why we're zebra mentality and we're supposed to all have the same stripes. All right.
Duke.
It says in your book that you felt guilty over what happened to the dog? Is that
I felt he only did that to Duke because of my cries and screams. And if I hadn't cried and screamed during the...
Oh my God, no, poor guy.
That what he did to Duke wouldn't have happened.
Do you still feel that way, or?
Yeah. I mean, he might have had that planned. Well, he couldn't determine if Duke was going to cry or not. Like I said, with a predator, you never know. But yeah, I still feel guilty for Duke.
Do you feel like Duke had more humanity than Dennis in that moment?
I feel Duke and I were the only two in that room who had humanity. And that's saying a lot since Duke's a dog.
It's so sad, eh?
Dennis, I feel, lost his humanity a long time ago. As soon as you dedicate your life to hunting children, and
Oh, jeez. You're done. No turn back.
you really can't say you have humanity. That's pure evil to me. If you're going to define what the devil is really the guy with a smile on his face who's charismatic, outgoing, friendly, charming, who everybody loves, who's involved in all these organizations, who's on the historical board, but who's only doing those things to fool people of his true nature.
What changed after that day?
My life was forever altered after that day.
No kidding.
My whole trajectory in life changed that day. Nothing would be the same. I would tell myself that talking about what just happened would be reliving it, and we were never going to do that.
Wow.
We could just bury this down deep inside and go about our life.
Jeez.
I convinced myself that that's what I could do. I led the most exhausting life because I would crank on a smile to the world. And inside, I was completely broken and destroyed. And I went through that way my whole life until I couldn't keep it up any longer.
How many years passed since you're 12 and then the day that you see Dennis Pegg at Quick Check?
I was 45 when I saw him at the Quick Check. So you're talking 33 years.
33 years, he's probably still hunting kids.
Yes.
And then there is a day that comes where you effectively hunt the hunter. You step into Quick Check. What happens there? It's like a gas station. It's a convenience store.
Yeah, this one was just a convenience store. They have gas stations now. They're a lot larger, but this was just a convenience store in a little like 4-store mall. I'm getting a coffee. I'm at the coffee island making a coffee. The front door opens. I think it had a bell on it, so it made me look up. And I look up, and I look into Dennis Pegg's eyes. He sees me, and he yells out to me, "Hey, how are you, buddy?" And I instantly start going into a panic attack.
I bet.
I can tell just by the way he said it, "Hey, buddy," that he's going to come over to me. I had seen Dennis around our town over those 33 years. I recall once in a bar after college. Me and my buddies were in a bar, and as soon as we ordered a beer, I get a pat on my shoulder, and it's Dennis Pegg. And I chug my beer, and I tell my buddies, we're going.
Yeah.
There's no
No
shame.
remorse, no shame, no guilt. Yeah, the predators, they don't ever show that. So I had seen him around town, but it had been probably 10 years since I saw him. And what was different this time in that Quick Check, which completely unraveled me, was that he had a young boy by his side, probably close to the age he me at, and that young boy called him the same nickname Dennis used to make me call him.
Oh, geez.
And I heard that nickname, and I saw that young boy, and it just
Blood
ripped
boiled.
open everything for those 33 years that I told myself I could bury down and go about my life. When he would touch me, I would freeze. I would stiffen like a board, and I felt my muscles it's like a paralysis. And I felt that coming on me, and I felt it hard to breathe. And the thoughts in my mind, just like your mind starts swirling where you can't even think. And I'm like, I got to get out of here before I completely freeze. And this guy grabs me, and I just left my coffee and whatever stuff I had on the island there, and I ran out past him. We sort of shoulder bumped a little, and he's like, where are you going, buddy? Come here." And I ran out and I hopped in my truck and I sped out of the parking lot and I went down the road and my life unraveled. Just completely unraveled.
Do you think you saw yourself in the little boy? Is that, or you just felt protective of the little boy? I couldn't get out of my mind over the next months that boy, and wondering what part of the grooming process is he? Is he being shown Polaroid pictures? Is he having beers in his truck? Is he at the wrestling stage? Is he teaching his buddy how to shoot right in the woods by lying there with fake blood on him and doing the death rattle in his bed? You know,
strange.
It haunted me. I couldn't even work any longer. Like, I was in business with my brother. We had Tire Automotive Center. And I walked out one day and I just couldn't go to work anymore. I was having to drink before work just to go into work. You know, instead of filling my coffee mug with coffee, I was so out of sorts. I'm filling it with alcohol and I'm doing other drugs. So I walked out of the business with my brother, and now I've got free time on my hand, which is never good when you have trauma. Mm-hmm. And I've got Dennis Pegg in the forefront of my mind. I've got that little boy in the forefront of my mind. And I had zero coping skills throughout my whole life. Like mindfulness, all these foreign terms, I never incorporated it,
Honest, you can see it in
I just dove headfirst into drugs and alcohol, like literally around the clock. Just one drug on its own wasn't enough. So I'm just taking any drug I can get to try to numb myself, to try to block the thoughts from...
You start unraveling after quick check.
Block.
Wow, this is just incredible. And I'm just letting the cat in. Just go. We have a Siamese cat, as you guys probably know. Very loud out there. 1 second, y'all. God, you feel for this man.
You do.
Clark. Well, I hope you guys have been having a good time with us with this reaction to Rotten Mangoes, sitting down with the killer Clark here, and really just been a good conversation and an incredible story that's coming down. What a tragedy that it's building up to right now. Honestly,
it's a tragedy, but in a way, it almost feels like a comedy because we're rooting for the killer, like in the Dexter kind of a way.
Yeah, and I understand the comedy side of it, but it's bloody for him, and it's a
exactly. And I only need that because we've talked about
Yeah.
the difference between a tragedy or a happy ending and a bad ending. It's a tragedy of what happened, but it feels like a happy ending because the villain got his just desserts or whatever.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So it's
it's
heavy.
If you guys are having a good time with us, though, hit that like button. If from gauging what we like from this, let us know which way we should move forward with Rotten Mango 2. Definitely subscribe so you don't miss more, and let's keep this going.
The thoughts from...
You start unraveling after quick check, but then there's a guy that you see smirking. Who is this guy? You see him smirking on TV. What happens?
Yeah, I was in bad shape. I wasn't sleeping much because of all the pain I'm doing. And I put on my TV, and it's Jerry Sandusky, the start of his molestation trial. Jerry Sandusky was one of the coaches at Penn State University.
Oh, wow.
And he was running a football camp for young boys, and over the course of years, decade plus, molesting boys at his football camp. He was finally facing trial for that, and his trial was starting on June 12th of 2012, and I saw him on the news get out of his lawyer's car and smirking and buttoning his coat jacket.
I don't know what to say.
And I just started yelling curses at my TV and spitting on my bedroom floor because I saw Dennis Pegg as him. Mm-hmm. I felt Dennis Pegg was never going to face justice.
it's like a similar smirk that they have? Is it
Yeah, they can never let their guard down.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll never apologize to you. Like, victims always reach out to me and say, I want to go confront my abuser. And I'm just like, don't. You're going to get re-abused because they'll never give you the answer you want to hear. It's not worth your time. And so they keep that air about them.
Yeah.
Dennis Peg in that deli, like, calls out to me like we're best friends.
Exactly.
I'm a victim of his.
Yeah,
like, what are you
hell?
doing? Like, and Sandusky's getting out smirking as his trial's starting.
Yeah.
And that just infuriated me. I spent the rest of the day out with a couple friends drinking, and me sneaking drugs. I got to go out and make a phone call. In my truck. I'll be right back. So and I'd go out and do coke and pop his necks and.
Jeez, Sandy's too.
I stopped at an Italian restaurant on the way home that night. I was meeting a buddy at my house who I had lent money to, and he was going to power wash the cedar siding of my house and stain it as repayment. So I was meeting him at home, but I stopped at this Italian restaurant, and there was a guy in there who burned me on a business deal, a motorcycle deal. I took out a $33,000 loan to have him build me this custom motorcycle, and he took the money, my money and a couple other people's money, and closed up shop in the middle of the night, then left town, and all of a sudden here he was in this Italian restaurant. So I went up to him and had words with him, and he was with his family. So I said, out of respect for your family, I'm not going to take this any further, but, you got to pay me, And he just told me to get lost.
Yep.
So I get home, and I tell my buddy about seeing that guy. And, we unloaded the equipment first, and we're having a glass of wine at the kitchen table. And my buddy goes to me, that guy's got to be number one on your hit list. And it's been 33 years
Number
since I was, and I've never told anyone.
Wow.
And for whatever reason, I couldn't stop the words coming out of my mouth. I just said, actually, he's number 2 on my hit list.
Yeah.
The piece of garbage who me as a young boy is number 1. And there it's out for the first time.
Wow.
The air was like
What'd you
heavy,
say?
like time stopped.
I bet.
The clock stopped on the wall, and we're just, like, you and I are sitting across from each other on a table, and we're just staring at each other. And he's like, are you for real? Or are you messing with me?
So this is the first time in 30 years that you tell anyone?
Yeah. To be exact, 33 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
You tell Bob, it just happens. You don't even decide. It's
Put
not
in the
like...
cult number 2.
Yeah, it just came out before I could even, like, stop my mouth from speaking. I was just so tired and exhausted and beaten down from drugs, and seeing that other guy inflamed me at the Italian restaurant, and just
Compounded.
it just came flying out.
Who is the first to talk, you or Bob?
Bob's, as I recall, is the first to say, like, are you for real?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm for real. And then he's like,
Bob
who
wanted
is
to
he?
be seen it?
I'm like, he was my Boy Scout leader. And, like,
it's interesting that Bob had a picture there to be shown there, and like maybe
It's a mugshot.
Right, very true, right?
It's his mugshot because he mentioned earlier that he had his friend in the car with him.
Yeah, the accomplice for sure.
So
say, like, are you for real?
Thank you.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm for real. And then he's like, who is he? I'm like, he was my Boy Scout leader. And, like, where did it happen? When did it happen?
Yeah,
So I'm just saying, and he's like, where does he live? And I'm like, he lives like 2 miles from here. And
Oh, that's it?
I think at that point I said to him, you know what? It's time to go confront this guy. Ever since seeing him with that boy in that quick check, I've just been haunted, and I'm like, it's time to go confront him. Now, Dennis Peg, he had retired from the sheriff's department, but he was still the firearms instructor. Everybody in law enforcement has to get recertified with their handgun every year, and he was the firearms instructor for 2 counties, Sussex and Morris. So every cop, every sheriff's officer had to go to him to get recertified.
Wow.
So the guy was a complete
Powerful.
gun nut. And I told Bob that, and I said, we ought to take something with us. I gave Bob a steak knife, and I went under my bed to where I kept that Boy Scout hunting knife he taught me how to sharpen, and I grabbed that. Now, Stephanie, basically this was a suicide mission. You know, a steak knife, a hunting knife against a guy who had 33 guns in his house.
See, that's what I mean. This number again, 33. That's why I'm getting eerie feelings from this. Everything's so occultic with things.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying, though?
I know what you're saying.
Like, it had to be 33 again there.
33 guns, 33 years that he went in silence.
Yeah, and I know that's just like how it works too, but like that's the eeriness and the connections of just like how things work, and that's like the evil spirit. And like there's a stat which is like so no one believes it when you hear it, but it's like 50% of all people who murder and 50% of people who get murdered are drunk.
Yeah.
So like that's the things that are happening, and that's what he's even admitting too. It's like, because I'm inebriated so badly with all these things, it's compounding with the lack of sleep. Then I'm getting triggered by actual trauma and seeing it happening to others. I need to still be in this moment in this drug phase to even go and execute this plan that I even want to do.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't do it sober.
And it was, I just needed,
just
and
rough.
it was just confronting him at first. That was the whole plan, was to confront.
Yeah, and who knows if he even drinks going to the moment. Maybe that's the
Yeah.
one time he's not drinking then.
Is going to the moment.
Right? So like it's just it's rough to see the spiral that's going on here and the inevitable
Build up.
yeah. It's
Who had 33 guns in his house. Shotguns, rifles, and over a dozen handguns. If you were doing what he was doing for 45 years, you would think he would have a gun at the ready, under every table, on every armrest, on every couch cushion. You would think like, my time, you know, I'm rolling the dice here 45 years in. I better be ready. So it should have been a suicide mission when I went there.
What did Bob say when you
but he's not ready for it.
made that suggestion?
I just handed him the knife and I said, I'm going to go get my hunting knife. And that was pretty much it. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't like a long drawn out thing where we're crossing our T's and dotting our I's and this is how this is going to happen and that's how that's going to happen. It was just like, I'm like, let me just go confront this piece of garbage, you know, and we'll take these with us.
And it's a 6-inch hunting knife, right?
Yeah.
Was that the biggest knife you had, or was it more so poetic justice because he was teaching you to sharpen that specific knife? Or you had like no thoughts, you're like, let me just grab a knife?
I would think it's subconscious poetic justice, you know, like take this with you.
Like eating
you know?
fish.
So you have no plan, just a knife. You guys drive to Dennis's house. At what point are you like, maybe this is not a good plan?
No, just like I said, he had a long driveway. Yeah, it had a 90-degree turn in it. Bob pulled up there, and at the 90-degree turn, stopped, went up the driveway. His front door was open, and there he is sitting. Like he had a storm door. It's a summer night, so the storm door's shut. I mentioned earlier, you know, like the definition of a devil. Well, to me, it looked like the devil sitting in his lair. That's all I saw. But seeing him, this is the first time I'm back at that house in 33 years since what happened with me and the dog. I never went back to that house. And I instantly started going into that panic attack again. Just breathing got real hard, and I feel like rigor mortis in my muscles. And before I completely froze, I walked up to his door, that storm door, and ripped it open, broke the hinge. And I'm standing in his doorway. It's 9:30, quarter to 10 at night. And there's somebody you ripped in your doorway who just ripped open your door. And he casually looks over his shoulder at me and goes, "Hey, how are you?"
What?
And it just seemed like the most
Oh my
incredulous thing to say in that moment.
That's
But
the word I've been
again,
looking
they
for.
can never let their guard down. Like a normal person would like get on their hands and knees
Yeah, no,
and start praying
coming.
like, "Oh my God,
I did not
I
see it was
wronged you. I'm so sorry. I know why you're here. Please forgive me. I'm sick. I need help. Come in. Let's talk." No.
Do you think if he did that, anything would be different?
If someone's down on their hands and knees praying to you, praying at you, begging for forgiveness, I would think so. Yeah.
But at
So
least in the
he
chance.
just says, "Hey."
How are you?
See, okay, and that's what I'm saying. Do you think it would have changed if, and he's like, I think so, if the praying was, then that means the whole intent was to hurt going in. And
Yeah.
obviously that's why you have the knives. But then if you're saying it's only because he has weapons and you think he has to be used to having weapons just to like protect his pedophile image that isn't known, like that's also where I hope Steph is still trying to say like there was no remorse going into this, like. So it's still good that she's still asking those questions and to not make it complete buddy and like it's not to try to even push Clark down or anything like that too. It's just it's so premeditated that for me it seems so premeditated that I
Oh, and
can't
it's
believe
still-
how this turns out. Like obviously we don't even know exactly how it turns. It's just
Yeah.
wow. It's just I can't believe she's actually getting this opportunity as well.
This is a great
What insight.
opportunity and amazing insight for her to be able to get. It does feel premeditated, even with him saying, like, we're going to go confront him. Like,
That seems even lowering the blow of what his intent was for me.
Exactly.
And that also helps. You gotta be able to make it through too. And I understand everyone's psychology is
Exactly.
different, right? But like, yeah, wow.
but like you said, he was drunk. They were high on cocaine, and he's like,
There's
let's
no
go.
hesitation.
There was no hesitation. It's like
They
we're
broke the door open.
yeah.
If all you needed was a bag to potentially stop that, then that's already like, whoa. And
Yeah.
also you can understand because a lot of people want to put justice into their own hands. So,
Vigilante style.
jeez.
Yeah.
So he just
also
says,
believe
"Hey."
it.
How are you?
That's just no.
What happens next?
Jeez.
We all have two faces. The face we show the world and the face behind closed doors. I've been showing the world that one face, and no one for 33 years has seen the face behind closed doors. Dennis is now going to see my other face. The face filled with rage. The face filled with hate. The face filled with anger. And I said, "Hey, how am I? Let me show you how the hell I am."
Oh no.
And I raced across this room. He stood up, and a violent struggle started. I started slashing at him with the knife. He started punching me. A violent, bloody brawl ensued. At one point, he connected with he's still this monster hulking guy.
Yeah.
And he connects with a square shot to my jaw. And as I'm falling down, I grab his shirt to keep from falling down. And I bring the knife down, and that's when I'm holding his shirt, and that's where it goes straight through and straight out and into his skin.
Right.
Just a little.
Right.
We continue going at it, and I mean we're talking minutes here. It's not like a long drawn out thing, maybe 3-4 minutes,
still a
2 minutes,
long
3
go.
minutes. It was quick. And he slips in the blood, and he falls down, and it's a mix of our blood. You know, like I'm gushing blood now. And he's up against the wall. I leaned down in front of him. I got eye to eye with him. And I said, "It's not so fun raping little boys now, is it, Dennis?" And I slit his throat.
Whoa.
And Bob was standing in the doorway, wide-eyed. And I said, "Go get the van and bring it up." Because I had one more thing I wanted to do. I walked over to the bedroom. He ripped me in, and I spit on the bed. The answer to everyone's question is, did this solve everything? No, it didn't solve everything. You don't heal from trauma by adding more trauma. You don't heal from sexual abuse by murdering someone. It's not how you heal. I stopped the predator from ever harming another young boy. 45 years was long enough of raping young boys. It should never have came to that. It would be uncovered that multiple boys over the years had come forward and filed lawsuits against him.
Oh, wow.
And he got out from every one of them.
Wow.
But I did what I did. And I knew walking out of his house that night that my life was over. Mm-hmm. You can't have the wound I have and just show up at a hospital and be like, I was cutting a steak and drove a 6-inch hunting knife through my hand and severed all the ligaments and tendons. I need help.
Did you think about doing that though?
I knew it wasn't an option. Like, you know, like I just knew
You wouldn't buy it yourself.
No.
You were
things
too
were never going to be the same
convicted.
again.
So
Action,
at
like you
no
said.
point during this altercation, and I know minutes are brief, but at no point he doesn't apologize.
No, there was just the only words he said was, "Hey, how are you?"
Oh.
And throughout the whole attack, he made like a high-pitched squeal. He never uttered a word like "stop," "let's talk," "don't do this," nothing. There was no words,
What
just
the heck?
a high-pitched squeal.
What
Like
the-
a wounded animal almost. Not one other word other than that initial thing when I was standing in his doorway.
That's so
Did you feel like you're in
strange.
control of your movements at that time, or did you feel like you're watching from the outside in, or you're just like on autopilot? What is that?
Yeah, I definitely wasn't in control of my movements or any.
Reaction.
It was like something had taken over my body, and man, would I be honest if I said I had a out of body experience during that? No, I wouldn't be honest. But it was like that. It was like looking at this reel going on, and just like that's how when I look back at it, like,
It's like a movie
I
reel.
can't believe what happened. I can't believe that I got to that point of brokenness to go do that and potentially flush my whole life away just from never healing from trauma. It's keeping the secret and not addressing it and not trying to grow from it or heal from it or learn from it or do anything other than let it just poison my system for decades. And that's what it did. And that's the part that I look back on now. And I just like, man, I probably would have died of a drug overdose. And everybody would have been like, oh my God, Clark had a great education and he was so
wouldn't have
popular. And what did he go die of a drug overdose from? I mean, that's where my life was headed.
Are you saying that even when you killed Dennis, you didn't even feel a moment of relief?
No, there was no relief because of the wound I had, because of how gory and horrific
That's his
killing someone
retribution.
was.
Wasn't for anything else.
Again, I don't view Dennis as having humanity, but it hurts your soul to kill somebody. It's not therapeutic in any way. It's not healing. Like it's damages your psyche. It damages your soul. It hurts. And I had to be completely broken to go do that.
God, I wonder how he's just
Do you
doing
have
now.
nightmares about it, or
No.
you never think about it?
No, I don't give him.
Good.
Again, if I killed an innocent person,
Yeah, different.
that would haunt me.
Yeah.
If I killed a human, that would haunt me. I don't view Dennis as an innocent person or a human.
Why did you walk
This
to the
is
bed?
still interesting for me because I want to know how he feels really in like he said, in the face where if he wasn't in an interview, what would he actually be thinking? Because one of the best book is Crime and Punishment, and it's about killing someone who definitely deserves it, and mentally it was the correct thing. You get away with it. Everything happens perfectly, but then it's holding it because, like he said, it's the soul crushing thing that happens. So I just pray for him, Clark, that he keeps on that path of not feeling that guilt and
Yeah.
going there. So it's good to know he's like not trying to give him any time, and but also addressing like, yeah, guys, like he would say, don't confront their people because they're not even gonna ever give you that I'm sorry
Yeah.
unless you make them beg and do it. Then it's not even
If you're
needed
going
anyways.
if you're going to confront your abuser, you're going to there to get re-traumatized again.
Perfect way he said it, right?
Yeah.
Dennis as an innocent person or a human.
Why did you walk to the bedroom?
That was to go spit on the bed he raped me in.
At what point were you like, I'm going to spit on this bed?
Okay.
Like, was it just like,
I don't know what came over me. Like, again, it's not like Bob and I sat at the kitchen table, like across from each other, like you and I are. And I said, after I do this, and this, then in my bloody footprints, I'm going to walk to the bed. He spit me on, or raped me on and spit on the bed. So like, I don't know what possessed me to go do that. It's something to just bring things full circle and to a closure. I needed to do that.
did it bring closure?
I thought it brought complete closure, like to my life and his. Like there was 2 deaths that day. The life I had been living up to that point, I could never go back to living the way I was. And I literally thought, I forfeit the rest of my life.
I die or he
I'll
dies.
either kill myself or spend the rest of my life in prison. I forfeited any healthy, happy life to just put an end to his reign of terror. That's what I thought.
It's interesting because, like, when I'm reading your memoir and going through that moment, because, I mean, the way that it's written, I feel like I'm there. I'm obviously not experiencing, like, the depth of emotions, but it feels I'm there with you. It almost feels therapeutic when you spit on his bed. And it's like kind of interesting because I know you don't advocate for people to do and follow in those steps, but I guess it was relief for the reader.
There's some sort of poetic justice in doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I think
and real quick to say too, I forgot his name, but one of the what was his name? But anyways, really tall guy. He's in Mindhunter show. He's one of the psychologists go and get him in the jail. But when he kills his mom, he ends up, doing things to her head with him, and it was. And like he says, I don't know why it took over. I guess my sexual frustration came out, and that's what I did it to her.
And just everything just happened all at once. It was like
Our lives sucked together, so I killed you because you hated your life because of me, because you couldn't get a man. Like it's just that's what happens. It's just terrifying.
Yeah.
What takes over in those moments?
It's just it's like it is like an
Ed Kemper, I think.
Ed Kemper, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's kind of like an out of body experience, but it's not really an out of body experience. But when you
still choose it,
you're still choosing it in that moment.
Yeah.
But when you remember it,
it's like a third person.
It's like a third person experience because it's like you're not fully there.
Yeah.
The poetic justice in doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if everybody, and it's a lot of everybody's, if they could spit on the bed they were raped in, they would want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a hole in your hand. You drive home and you say you need to tell your mom. What is the thinking behind that? You're telling your mom because you don't know what's going to happen next, or?
Yeah, my mom had just come up from Florida. Welcome home, Mom.
Story for you.
And I called my best friend at the time, and the girl I was dating, and asked them to come over because I
Tell all three.
just my life's over, Steph. You know, like am I gonna kill myself after this, or am I gonna spend life in prison? It's one of those two things. So let me say goodbye to my buddy. Let me say goodbye to my girlfriend, and let me get my mother up and say goodbye to her, because this isn't gonna turn out good.
And your mom she's 80. How old was she at the time? Do you recall?
Yeah, like 81 maybe.
And so your plan is, I'm going to wake my mom up, tell her goodbye. But your mom's plan is, I'm going to clean up the blood and we're going to run. We're going to get away with murder together.
Mom's like, we're getting away with murder. You know, she was, man, I guess it.
That would be my grandma. If I called grandma and was like, hey grandma,
This happened.
my grandma would be like, I know how to get bleach. We're getting the bleach, we're getting the vinegar, like
Jeez, look at him.
where's the baking soda? Grandma would have been on it.
Jeez.
You know, she was, man, I guess it's good to laugh about it now, right?
Yeah.
So she wakes up
This was
and
therapeutic for
you
him.
tell her what happened. You still don't tell her.
The thing is, I couldn't even tell her then that I was by Dennis. I still couldn't. I couldn't bring it out, and she was like dumbfounded. What? Why would you go do this? Why? And I said, to avenge a lot of other kids in this town. And she goes, still, why you?
Yeah.
Why are you the avenger? Why? I don't get it. Why? And I couldn't tell her, like, for what, you know, for raping me too, Mom. I still couldn't say it. Even though I told it to my buddy earlier. She helped me upstairs.
There's a difference between it falling out of your mouth and telling someone.
And not wanting his mom to feel guilty.
Yeah, because mom would have felt so
That he
guilty
did
for
for the
having
dog.
him around, because she would have been like, well, this never
Yeah.
would have happened if I didn't have him around, but he was a family friend and we trusted him. And
Exactly.
She helped me upstairs. I wrapped my hand in duct tape, which fixes everything. So I wrapped it with paper towel and duct tape, and took a couple Xanax and went to bed. And my mother went downstairs and started scrubbing the floors all night long to get the blood up.
And so she's like, we're going on the run. But you wake up and the cops are surrounding.
Yeah. She told my sister that she was going to take me and we were going to go on the run.
I know, it says in the book,
She's
you
like,
guys
she
are
just
thinking the
starts
end of the world,
gossiping
which is
right
Florida.
Holy
Because you're going to go to Florida.
Yeah.
No, I like the plan. I think your mom is
Sister's like, I'm not an accomplice. You guys already screwed me by calling me. I'm calling the cops.
yeah,
really adorable. I mean, I was just so fascinated by your mother because, you know, she's cleaning up the blood. She's ready to go Bonnie and Clyde with you.
Oh, damn.
And then the cops come the next morning. They've got on the loudspeakers. They're saying, Clark, come out. And she's like, no, the neighbors are going to hear. Your mom is so fascinating.
She said to one of the troopers as I was still in my bedroom, what are the neighbors going to think? He's like, ma'am, I really don't give a damn what the neighbors think.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so you see the cops outside.
So they took her out. They
okay.
took her out of the house.
And they're like, you look out the window and they're just like trying to be sneaky, trying to.
Yeah, they're like I said, they're hiding behind trees. You know, they don't know
What's inside?
what I have, if I'm loaded up with a AR-15 or what my mental state is. You know, they've got a dead body.
Yeah.
So
Of course.
they're every one of them has their gun drawn. Wow. Everyone's taking, you know, some sort of protection.
I
There's
like the
this
music
big
switch
rock
up.
to the left
Me
of
too.
the yard, and there's trees, and there's the shed out back, and They're just all behind everything, and then they're behind their cars lining the street, and I just couldn't believe it. I was lying in bed like, jeez, how are we gonna get out of this? Like, how are we gonna get out of this? And like, there's gotta be a way out of this. And before I could even possibly think of any way out of this, the cops are there, and I'm just, and your stomach just drops, and you're just like, it's over, bro. It's over. And all I could think, they ordered me out of the house over a bullhorn, and as I walked to that front door, I just called out to God, let one of these guys kill me when I step out. Like, it's over, God. Like, I don't want to do life in prison. Just take me now. And let him shoot me when I walk out. And I stepped out that front door with my state police shirt on that I put on. And I put my arms out to the side. And I just sort of tilted my head back, and I just waited for the crack of a gun. And it never came. And instead, I was ordered off my porch, down to the front lawn, spread eagle, handcuffed, and taken away.
Were you disappointed when you didn't hear a shot go off?
Yeah.
You were.
Because in that ride to the police barracks was like the longest ride of my life, and I'm just like, man, one of these guys couldn't kill me, put me out of my misery. Like, I'll have to find a way in prison to do it. I'll have to take care of this myself.
Jeez.
You killed a cop. You're arrested by a bunch of cops. You're about to go to the jail that cop worked at.
Jeez.
Things are not looking good.
No.
Yeah. Understatement of the year.
Yeah.
But there are some cops, some detectives who seem to... They give you some sage advice in that weird moment. What happens there? Like, what was the energy? Like, are all the arresting officers, do you feel like hatred dripping off?
Need a little breather for a second? Need to pee or something?
Yeah.
All right, everyone, we're in the home stretch. 10 minutes left. Let's see how this ends.
Off of them because you killed a cop, or do you not even notice the moment? What happens there? Like, what was the energy? Like, are all the arresting officers, do you feel like hatred dripping off of them because you killed a cop, or do you not even notice what their energy is? What is that dynamic?
Well, I'm thinking like I'm public enemy number one amongst law enforcement. I just killed one of their own. Yeah. And yet at the state police barracks, this lieutenant, Howie Ryan, comes in and goes, I have to apologize to you. And I'm like, what are you apologizing to me for? And he's like, I've heard rumors about Dennis Pegg for a long time. And he goes, I want to apologize to you for never stopping him. He goes, but I can't arrest somebody on rumors. I need victims. Yeah. I need cold, hard facts. And I had neither of those. And I apologize to you. And then he left the room. And at first step, I felt, wow, that's pretty cool. And then I'm like, just started fuming. I'm like, even the state police knew. Everybody knew about Dennis Pegg and young boys. Everybody's got a story. The state police just admitted they knew. And yet, I'm the one
who has to do it.
Just had to flush his life away and look at life in prison to stop him. And they knew. And then so I went from feeling good for a second, getting really pissed off for another second, and then I'm like, what's it matter anyway? I'm done. I'm done. When that cop Howie Ryan came back in the room, he could see that I had like mailed it in. He said, I could tell you were done. And he goes, something moved in me that even though you thought you were done, I didn't think you were done. And he said, look, I've got your DNA all over that crime scene. He was in charge of the CSI team that worked Pegg's house. He's like, your blood's everywhere. He goes, this isn't a whodunit. He goes, but that doesn't necessarily mean your life's over. My detectives and detectives from the prosecutor's office are in another room waiting to interrogate you. He goes, if you go in that room and open up your mouth, you could potentially destroy the rest of your life.
Wow.
He goes, I'm telling you right now, go in there, exercise your Fifth Amendment right, request a lawyer, and keep your mouth shut.
Wow,
stay
very
quiet.
Smart.
And I said to him, but I don't have a lawyer. And he goes, I'm going to take care of that for you.
Interesting.
He goes, I'm going to get you a lawyer. And he left the room, and on his cell phone, he called one of the big lawyers in our county and said, I need you to fax over to the state police barracks a retainer for somebody, like, immediately.
It's like divine intervention right now.
Yeah.
The lawyer said, who is he and what did he do? And he goes, Clark Fredericks, murder. And he goes, okay then. And had a thing over in a couple minutes.
So he tells you not to talk. Do you listen to him?
I do.
Wow.
Right when you get arrested, it seems like the whole town is divided. A lot of people feel like you did this for very nefarious reasons. Other people start hearing what Dennis has been doing around town. Do you feel like at any point were there just dividing opinions? Did it feel like everybody had their own thought about what the motive was?
Yeah, there was some vocal people on his side who were pro Dennis, who just like referred to me as a drunk drug addict who just killed a great man. You know, I just woke up one day and said, Dennis Pegg, I'm going to go kill you for no reason. Before it really started coming out about what happened, you know, because there were the little old ladies on the historical society that worked with him were like, he was such a sweet man. You know, the mayor in Stowell at the time was like, oh, he was a giant of a human being, you know, and then people like Howie Ryan are like, no, I knew all about rumors about this guy. Your audience is going to have to get the book because there's a line from Howie Ryan in the book to the prosecutor. It's one of the greatest lines you will ever hear. I don't want to give it away. It's it's the most powerful line you will ever read, said by him.
We will put the page number so you guys can go get it.
Yeah.
And I will tell you what page, because I know
You know exactly what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what line
That was
you're
a powerful
talking about.
line,
Yeah.
right?
No,
Right,
that
it's
was...
unbelievable line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it makes you want to get the book, doesn't it?
It does.
Oh, man.
At that point, once you've been arrested, you're facing first-degree murder charge initially. So you're facing life in prison.
Life in prison.
And you have an attorney, and they're saying, have a little hope, but not too much hope.
Yeah. You know,
Right.
And it's funny that the lawyer Howie Ryan at the barracks called, George Daggett, who sent the retainer over. I never even interviewed him at the jail as one of my lawyers. I don't know why. But I interviewed a bunch of other lawyers, and one lawyer just wanted to get me bailed out. We'll get you bailed out of here in 3 days.
Oh, jeez.
That's
a big promise.
All right. And then this other lawyer came in all flashy with his, gold jewelry, Rolex watch, and he's listing all these cases he's worked. And I knew the cases, and he lost them all. But in my head, I'm like, but you lost all those, so I'm like,
Oh my
and then
God.
this guy Dan Perez came in. He just looked like a really good guy, like really down to earth. And he came in, and he said, I think we can have a valid defense for this. And I was like, really? He goes, yeah. He goes, it's not going to be easy, but I don't think your life is over. I was like, really? I'm like, you're hired.
Wow.
What's that?
During that time,
Came
Dennis
in being
had
straight
a
and honest.
security deposit
Yeah, that's what
box
you gotta
that
do.
the police go through.
Yeah,
And they find a bunch of letters
right.
that he wrote 10 years before he died.
Correct. And when he was in his young to mid 50s, healthy.
They all have some variation of pray for me. I hope I didn't disappoint you. Forgive me for any failings. Do you think some of these letters are to victims?
Yeah. Yep. And like they're creepy.
Yeah.
There's something really creepy about them. Like,
weird.
And the prosecutor told me after the fact that he thinks there was 14 of them in there, that 13 were probably victims. Would you ever think, like right now, to like write letters to people in case you die? No. He was 50 something years old. Like
You knew
what would make you do that?
And he does keep writing, interestingly, like, if I go to heaven, pray for me. But if you're already dead, I don't know what exactly he's asking for in prayer.
Yeah.
Is it to get to heaven? It's weird.
It's guilt.
Yeah, it
Straight
was. I read those, and it just like left me feeling yucky. Like,
Yeah.
and then if you assume that they're to victims, like, I tried my best. I thought we were family. Forgive me for shortcomings. What are your shortcomings?
How many victims do you think that he had?
My buddy's wife is the sheriff's secretary, and she sat in on every meeting with the sheriff in the early days, and they estimate well over 100.
One
Wow.
of the other victims is very close to you. Family relation. Who was that?
No way.
My brother.
Right, his older brother.
What happened to your brother?
My arrest opened up my brother's Pandora's box. You know, like
bet.
seeing that boy in that deli open my box up. My arrest opened my brother's box up, and my brother wasn't ready to face it. He wasn't ready to handle it. Didn't want to deal with it. You know, like I told myself at 12, we're just going to bury this and go about our life. Well, that's what my brother had done his whole life, and everyone urged him to get help, to see a therapist. And my brother did what I did, was to numb himself. And
Oh no.
I found him dead on our kitchen floor a couple of years ago from drinking himself to death.
This is going to be a 2-part interview. This is part 1. In part 2, we're going to ask Clark about how and why the FBI came to him to warn him that someone put a hit out on his life. He has, there's his entire journey, or I guess more so fight in prison, trying to get through it while he's surrounded by criminals who are accused of doing the very thing that Dennis Pegg did, which is harm children. There are letters that Dennis Pegg left his presumed victims in his safety deposit box, and how someone very close to Clark is killed by Dennis Pegg after Clark gets out of prison. Like, how does that even happen? Wow. We are going to go through all of that in part 2. Also, how the hell does Clark get out of prison when he's facing a first-degree murder charge and life in prison? That will all be asked in part 2. But in the meantime, if you feel like you can't wait for those answers, which, same, you can get Clark's memoir. It's probably the most intense memoir that I've ever read, and I've read copious amounts of memoirs before. There are just so many aspects of his story that aren't included in our episodes that you can find in depth in his book. Right. I think I finished the whole book the first time around in like 4 hours. It was one of my quickest reads. There's something about it where I don't know how Clark does this, but every time you catch yourself feeling like, okay, there's a black hole that we've now went into, there's no way out of it, you get out, and then there's just like another black hole. And it is like the most intense emotional journey that I have ever been on. You can also find Clark on his social media accounts and his own podcast, which I will link below. But with that being said, that is part 1 of the 2-part series of the story of Clark Fredericks. And I will see you in part 2.
Well, I think we know what the next Rotten Mango reaction will be. With that said,
yes.
I mean, we got to finish it before we even ask what next one we're going to do. That is what a way to end it, at a perfect place to want more as well. Peppy has snuck in.
Oh, yes,
looking,
I've been
looking nice and gorgeous.
hanging out with the kitty.
Wow, honestly, holy snap. I think that's why truth usually beats lies, and I think the thing that sticks out for me the most with these like sociopaths are just their inability to show remorse.
Yes.
That's what pisses me off the most as
Absolutely.
well. And that's what pissed Clark off the most. It's just like he couldn't even said like sorry once. And like you're just coming and acting like we're buddies and like that exists. What just happened didn't even exist because these people can't really think about it even while doing it because they have to act at this double life where they have to be this amazing entrepreneurs and like policemen and stuff, but then when they're doing this other act they have to act like it's not even still happening, so
Well, yeah, and like
one time you accept it, it's gonna break, right?
it's crazy. It's crazy because so just to bring into, I mentioned earlier in this video how I have a family member who is convicted. I have an uncle who is convicted of doing this type of stuff to children, and I was at my grandparents' house a few months back.
Right.
And he called them just like
you were
every
there
other
in the
day.
presence.
And I was there at my grandparents' house when he called.
Yeah.
Just to have a conversation as if nothing's ever happened, as if there was no conviction, as if like the past didn't exist, just to complain about what's going on in the world. The man can't get a job. The man can't be near anyone.
Just looking for sympathy.
Just looking for sympathy, just to complain and ask for money.
Ugh.
Right? And to ask for things and to ask for support, as if it's every day, as if nothing's happened. Like there's no remorse, there's no understanding of your life. This is someone who wants to reach out to people just to be like, oh yeah, remember me? We used to be best friends. It's like, no. So what he's saying there about how this person just like, hey, how's it going? How are ya?
Yeah.
Right.
All
It's
buddy,
like
buddy,
all
right?
buddy buddy. It's so
Feel untouchable, right? That's the thing. They feel so above everything.
Yeah, untouchable is the perfect way. They feel invincible.
Yeah, of course.
Like there's nothing that like they are the law itself.
They create their own morals, and that's the scary thing with those type of people.
It's so
and
disturbing.
so well betrayed with the questions. I love how it just jumped right into it. You didn't even. It felt different because it didn't have that the normal intro where it has that like spinning thing that she has and like that transition thing that originally, so it just felt like a different thing, which is refreshing as well. Us, we're normally doing music reactions, y'all, so like when we come into the Rotten Mango, it's a different feel for us too. We're always excited for it as well, at least for me, because this is now only your second time doing it, so I'm really happy that this is a part one, because then that means we gotta have a land for part two. So I hope you guys really enjoy this one. It's been a long one as well. So if you have made it and you have not done this yet, please hit the like button so we know you had a good time with us. Comment down below if you want to see part two. Subscribe if you're not a Chronic yet. Notification bell so you don't miss part two when we eventually probably do it. And if you do ever want to go that extra mile, we do have a Patreon free trials and YouTube memberships where you also can support us as a family to help us continue to do this full time like we love. So thank you guys so much for all your time and love. We're exiting the rabbit hole, folks.
Thank you so much, everyone, for being here with us. And thank you for coming back to our Rotten Mango reaction. If you guys really enjoyed this, and I can't wait to see the next part, definitely let us know in the comment section below. I have thoroughly enjoyed getting to hear this story because it's kind of therapeutic in a way to be able to hear of someone who has
someone who went through the trauma
went through the trauma to talk about it. Not very often do we get to have these sit down with the killer and hear the why done it, like what the reason behind it was, when
the unique case to get off the unique
case, the unique case of a sane individual to get right. Because there's so many times when you see these people go into their trials and they're just gone, right? Their humanity is gone.
He picked the right lawyer.
Right? So he had the right lawyer, he had the right story.
We'll find out.
Or the right reasoning, right? Or maybe it was divine intervention, who knows? I can't wait to hear what the rest of his story was, because it definitely feels like the police force being on his side was kind of a divine intervention in that moment.
That's kind of what it
But
felt
how
like.
aggravating must that have been to be like they knew and they couldn't do anything.
That's usually what it is, y'all, and that's why it takes one to be a hero, and hopefully you never need to do a drastic thing like that. And that's
Yeah.
something that Clark has advocated, is to not go that far with taking justice because of what it also does to your soul. So there's just a lot you can take from this one. It was a very good one, and I've already done my plug to leave, so now you
It's
can
time
do your
for me
thing.
to do mine. So thank you all for being here with us. Don't forget to go and buy Clark's book. Like it was mentioned at the very end of that Stephanie mentioned, the best way to support Clark is to buy his book. So definitely go and do that, as well as best way to support, if you don't want to wait until our next reaction, is to go and watch it yourself or buy that book. So thank you so much again, everyone, for being here with us. Don't forget to like and share our video. Peace and love.
God bless you.
Take care and bye for now.